Love, light, and blessings. This is Shamanic Iraq Priestess here. This is AVR 2, and I'm going to look up the channel right now because I want to make sure I give her credit. I'm going to make sure I link the original video in the description box. Mystic Soul Oracle's channel. She has a newer channel, so I wanted to make AVR to just show love. I know how hard it is to make a new channel. Plus, she did mention me as one of the inspirations for her to create content. So she has great content from weekly forecasts to just talking about topics, anything tarot related and things of that nature. And I do enjoy watching her videos. This video is TarotTube decks that spill the tea, and pretty much which decks speak to you like profoundly on a deep and spiritual level that pretty much tells you everything. So I picked the top 10 decks that spill the tea. So the first one is the Vision Quest, and I divided it into two groups. I have decks that I work for myself that I'm going to put that specifically I only use for myself. I don't use on clients. I do daily one card pulls. I also use decks for self-work, shadow work, inner child healings and things like that. So these decks I specifically bought to work on certain issues, and even for divinatory purposes and things like that, I use on myself, and I don't like to mix the energies with the energies of my clients. So this will be the Vision Quest. I love this deck so much. I do talk to spirits, without tools, but this deck reminds me of my great grandmother who had native descent, and she would do these beautiful spirit dances and stuff when I was younger. And she taught me a lot about nature and connection. She was a spiritual healer. I do come from a family of spiritual women, and this transformation card is so profound. The artwork in here, just everything. I get the most profound readings from this deck, and I just completely love it. It's gentle, very spiritual. So when I feel that I need comfort, that grandma type energy, this is the deck that I will use to work on myself with. So there's nothing bad I can say about this deck. I completely love it. It speaks to me on a very deep and spiritual, level and things like that. So love Vision Quest, and so I can't see myself without this deck. Like, I love it so much. I even got an extra backup copy in a trade that I did, and things like that. That's how much I love this deck. The second deck is the Golden Dawn. It's a recently purchased deck, and it wasn't my art style. Like, I was just drawn to get it. No favorable reviews on YouTube or anything like that. But this deck, it's very blunt, darker energy for me. It just gives me these readings like, oh my goodness gracious. Like, there's no sugarcoating. It's just blunt. Like, if you need to know, I'm going to tell you about it. It will give you that clarity, But sometimes we need that energy. So I do a lot of shadow work with this deck. So that was the Golden Dawn Tarot. Sorry, I had to pause the video because I'm going to drink something right now. My throat got really dry and I started coughing, so I didn't want to have that on video. Another deck that I love using for myself is Maria Celia. This one also reminds me of my great grandmother and my grandmother. The deck is purposely made to look like aged. And they didn't have like a lot of decks or anything. They had like either the barajas or playing cards, and they would be very old. Some of them I'm like, how do you still use that? And then we use it for clients and things like that. So this takes me back to that. And I love the art style of it, and I love the pips. Like, because I have a background in reading playing cards, this takes me back to that because it's like numerology plays really heavily on my tarot practice and my readings and things like that, and this kind of brings me back to that. In the pips, I see images when I read this, like I see things in this, and things like that. I get very psychic hits, very psychic readings from it. Sometimes I like less symbology, less pictures, because I'm someone who has read cartomancy and has also read with no tools. So it kind of brings me to the beginning of my journey, and it just helps me to remember like my grandmother, my great grandmother, those very strong women that, and my mom, that paved the way to my path, you know, that in some way like influenced me, inspired me, and things like that. So yes, I love that deck. That deck definitely spills the tea, gives me very blunt and honest readings. Another one that spills the tea is the African American Tarot. Love this one. So glad my daughter talked me into getting it because I had seen unfavorable reviews of this. I have a very in-depth review of this. This is the backs. It's called African American, but it actually has Africans from Africa. Then they have African Americans in the minors. Like it brings you to recent historical figures that are tied into African spirituality and African spiritual deities and things like that. So it's kind of like tying our roots to the present and things like that. So it's actually like, it should be like Africans of the Americas tarot, I guess. But yes, it's a beautiful deck. I love the artwork. I get really deep, really spiritual readings with this. And again, I don't need decks to, you know, to contact the other side. I am a psychic medium and things, but I do love using this deck for a one-card pull, for doing readings for myself to predict the future, seeing what energies I'm gonna, you know, need to work for in the day, to journal and things like that, and just even doing healings of any type of ancestral healing that I need to do and things like that. I just love this deck so much. Like I get such great readings, such blunt readings, very earth readings, very grounded readings, grounded in reality, and things like that. So, and the next one is the Afro-Brazilian Tarot. And despite the little white book, the tarot itself, I love. And I love using this deck for one-card pulls, for predictive readings for myself. I love the predictive readings, to do predictive readings with this. I love the pips, like the minors, how it's more pip style. Everything in this deck speaks to me. The colors, the artwork, like it just, I could meditate on these cards. I could live in these cards. I get such deep readings with them. Like just beyond the book meanings. I mean, this deck just for me will tell you what it is, how it needs to be. Like, and it's just so, it's beautiful. It's I have a walkthrough of this one too. I adore this deck so much. Like it's so good. I'm so glad I got it as well. You don't need a big book with it. Like it just, for me, it just really speaks to me. And I have a cultural connection with these Vision Quest, the Maria Celia, well, not the Maria Celia, but the Vision Quest, the Afro-Brazilian. I'm not, you know what I mean? Because I do have Portuguese lineage, and the African American Tarot, because I have African descent. So like I just love these decks so much. Cannot see myself getting rid of them. And the last one for self-work that spills the tea, that speaks to me the most, is Dreams of Gaia. It's an oldie but a goodie. Like I cannot see myself parting from this one. I'm currently working with it right now. I get such blunt readings. This one is I don't use for divination, unlike the other ones, in the sense of like future casting or predictive reads for myself. I use this one for present, for past, lots of past. So a lot of shadow work on my past, manifesting the things that I want for the future with working with the energies of right now. So this is more of my manifesting, more of my what do I need to work on right now? What present energy do I need to pretty much whether it's hindering me or helping me, what are my current blockages so that I could read my end goal, reach my end goal and stuff like that. So this is more of a past and present. I don't really see this as a predictive deck for myself. And I had a really deep spiritual dream with this one. It's why I got it after watching a unboxing of it and walkthrough. So Dreams of Gaia, I love it so much. I keep it in this special pouch because it's the deck I'm using. I use this journal to like, with the decks that I just showed you and other decks that I have that are for self-work. I journal there, like the readings that are life-changing, that are profound, that really leave an impact. I usually journal it in there. So those are like the 5 decks that I cannot see myself living without because they will spill that tea. Even if some of them are not the art styles that I would like or whatever. I'm sorry, six decks. Art style that I like, they have just been so good for readings from myself that I just want to continue to grab for them and work with them. I really do. As far as client reads go, I have 4 decks that spill the tea the most, that I thought I could get rid of when I was purging, but I'm like, I cannot see my collection without these decks. I love them so much, and it's the original Rider-Waite. If I could only have one Rider-Waite version, it would be this one. This is my favorite. The coloring, I'm reading with this one right now, and let me tell you, when I pulled this one out for its rotation, the reads that I was getting with this thing, oh, like I was reading like last night. I was doing so many back-to-back readings and until late at night, and I just, after I was done, I felt like I was gonna pass out because, you know, I was such high energy and vibration, and I airy, and I don't know how to explain it. Like I just felt like it was so draining. Like I had the most beautiful readings last night, and I always have powerful readings, of course, but you know, last night was just like, 'cause it was just back to back, back to back. And that's just one example of like this deck brings me into a place. Like it's not even about these symbols. Like I can't explain it. Like when I use this deck, the ancestors that I'm channeling through, that are bringing these messages, they just love this traditional deck and they love to speak through it. And the stuff that comes out in readings with this deck, you got to see it to believe it. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, it's so good. It's so good. I love it. It's not in order because I'm currently using it right now. These are the backs, and this is the original tarot. I love Rider-Waite Smith. I do. Like, if I could have one deck to read clients with, there you go. You know, so I just have a really deep connection with it. And it is such a good predictor. It is so just truthful. And I mean, I do all my readings with one deck when it comes to professional readings. I'll do angel readings, chakra readings, spiritual investigations with this deck, predictive readings, financial. Like this deck just does it all. Like it is so good, and it's on my current rotation. Like I love it. This is my soul deck. This deck speaks to me. I used it I bought it originally to work on myself, but it just gave me such pa-pow readings, okay, that I ended up using it on my clients, and I love it. It's the wheel of the year. I don't hear many people talking about it, but you know, it's all good. I have a backup copy of this because if it ever goes out of print, because even mass-produced decks go out of print, I have my backup. I love this deck. It is beat up, it is torn up, it is chipped, but the symbology, the artwork, everything about this deck just speaks to me. I stopped using it for a couple of months. I went into withdrawal, ended up using it on my rotation, and boom, it was speaking to me. One card alone will give you a whole reading, a whole forecasting. Oh, your predictions are coming true and all this stuff, because the decks that I use for professional reading, those are the ones that speak to me for that situation. And that's why they're dedicated to those things, because I'm trying to give you the best readings you can get when I'm reading you professionally and things like that. So I always go with my soul decks, the ones that speak to me the most. And this deck, the Wheel of the Year, it really, really does. It just does. I don't know. I have no idea. But I have a walkthrough of this when I first started making videos, and some people were like, the way you were interpreting the cards when you were showing them, because I was so excited. I'm getting the deck because, like, seriously, I just get some messages from that deck. One deck that I found myself like using it, and it gave me okay readings, but then over time, something told me not to get rid of it. And as of like last year, so 2018, and then like even now 2019, like in the last year or two, I've really connected with the more Angrier. And I was thinking of purging it because I haven't used it in a while. So I said, let me just use it on the rotation. I'm like, yeah, you're not getting purged. This is the backs. I love this deck. Like the coloration, just everything. I love it so much. And I get really amazing readings. I find myself really drawn to this deck during like the autumn months, summery, because the bright colors and things like that. I just really, truly love this deck. My favorite Nine of Pentacles card. It's a really great deck. The card stock is amazing. Been having it for years and it's held up. I use for professional readings. I've used it on myself too when I first got it, because that's what I bought it for. And I ended up kind of just forgetting about it. And then when I started using it, I remembered why I love the deck so much. So it's just great. It gives really great readings. And for some reason, like, clients really love it. Like, they're like, what deck is that? I love the coloring on it. Like, he gets really good reactions and stuff like that. So a lot of people seem to enjoy that coloring and art style. And last but definitely not least, my gorgeous Henson Roberts deck, upside down, that I adore and love. Was also thinking of getting rid of it, and I was like, no, no, no. I had such a connection in the month that I was using this deck that I'm like, no, not only am I connecting with you, this is my backup copy, because the other copy was so beat down. I love the size of this deck, and I travel with this one when I do like traveling on business. It's either this one. Now it's my Centennial in the tin, or the Maria Celia when I'm doing readings on the run, because I do travel to people for spiritual reasons. And I always have my handy dandy deck because sometimes I have to pull some cards and talk to some spirits when I'm doing some things over there. So, but I love this deck for traveling, readings on the go, and just professional readings in itself. It's so good for a limited space because the cards are so nice and plain card size and things like that. But I love this deck. I love it. I love it. I love it. I get really deep, really emotional readings from it. Like, again, these are the decks that when I do readings for other people, like, they speak to me. And I've had people when I use these decks like, oh my God, how are you getting this information? I feel like because I use spirits and things like that, there's just some decks that respond to better than others. And when they have that connection with it, I have that connection with it, and the spirits and I are just driving in that vibration, the messages will come through. It's just an unexplainable thing. But these are my decks, top 10 decks that spill the tea. Hopefully you guys like this video. I tried to keep it as short as possible. But yeah, so these are the top 10 that spill the tea. And I'm going to link the original video down below if you want to work with me on a one-on-one basis, shamanic@workpriestess.com. And you can book either a reading, psychic reading, a manifestation reading. When you book a reading with me, I'll answer whatever questions you want in the time that you have booked your reading for. So you can ask me anything from love, finances, and all that stuff in one reading, within the time frame that you bought. So 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and 1 hour are the different packages that I have. I also do spell work, ritual work. You have to do a consultation first and to see if I can help you, and then we'll do the rituals and things like that to manifest the things that you want. I also am a shaman, so I do healings, shamanism, healings and things like that as well. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and until the next video, much love, much light. Thank you so much to all my subscribers, my new and my existing subscribers, my clients that I've met on here on YouTube, by watching my videos and booking me and things. My business continues to grow, and that's very exciting. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be making a trip to go see a client, to do some really powerful rituals and things like that, for the next 4 to 5 days. So that's why I had to temporarily not do readings. It's on my Skype for those that have my Skype info, and for those that will be going to my website. When I do go on business trips, I always put it down in the contact information in bold letters if I'm going to be out of town. So that way, if you're booking, you'll know that there might be a day or two before I get back to you, and you might have to wait a little bit for the actual scheduled reading because I'm not physically available. So I do have that on my shop, so you guys can know that before going into purchasing a reading. But most of the time I'm around, but there are times I have to travel for business. So much love, light, and blessings. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until the next video, guys, please comment below, like, and subscribe.